Just before this episode, I wanted to tell you you can get more from Never a Truer Word by subscribing on Spotify. If you are a Spotify listener, and 90% of you are according to the stats, then you can subscribe to get early access to the weekly episodes, video episodes so you can follow along with the statements, exclusive subscriber episodes, and a chance to leave comments for future episodes too. Go to the Spotify page for Never a Truer Word and press subscribe or unlock. And if you do decide to subscribe, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Did Karen Reid say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him when she found her boyfriend unconscious at the side of the road? That's what we're going to look at in this episode from Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use to see if they're telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we're going to dive on into some of the witnesses in the ongoing Karen Reid trial in this episode, and especially around this claim from some that Karen said, I hit him when she found her boyfriend John O'Keefe at the side of the road. This is Karen's version of events.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark.
However, some of the witnesses say different.
I hit him.
I hit him.
I hit him.
What's the truth? Let's delve in and look at the words they use in this trial. Karen is on trial for murder. It's alleged that she killed her boyfriend using her car. Quick plug here, if you want more on the Karen Reid trial, I have done a very deep dive into the Jen McCabe testimony, which you can find a link to in the description of this. Also, I have appeared on the Outlier podcast, specifically looking at Brian Albert's testimony. So if you want to have a listen to that, there's another link there. And a long time ago, 9 months ago, it says there, I did a dive into Karen's Nightline interview as well. So you'll be able to have a look at those, all linked in the show notes. Now, if you're new to this, if you're here because you're interested in the Karen Reid trial, and it's got a lot of interest, this is what we do in this channel. We look at the words that people use, nothing else. We look at the words, we look at how they phrase things, and we look at the concepts that they repeat, and nothing else. So logic and evidence doesn't come into what we're looking at here. I understand it comes in the wider world, so does body language, but that's not what I'm going to look at here. So spare me the comments of what about the dog or what about the ring camera. No, this is just about the words and the words that we're going to look at here. Let's start with Karen giving her version of events on Nightline.
Firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly, somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out?
Big caveat here. You can see the editing that's gone on in this interview. American TV especially is terrible for editing, so we don't get the full context, so some of that might be missing. Anyway, here's the words from that first part. The interviewer says to her, a firefighter said that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Karen says, I said I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly somehow and then in his drunkenness passed out? The first thing that struck me there was the fact that Karen said in quotes, I said I hit him. You can clip that. In fact, people have sent it to me saying, Karen admits she said I hit him. No, you're missing out the full context when you do that. But it amazed me when I saw that interview that she said that. There is such a thing as an embedded confession. When people lie, the truth very often leaks out. And it's there in words. And that's what that looks like. It looks like an embedded confession. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying this is her confessing. I'm not saying this is her truth. But she did say those words. I said I hit him. She then goes on to qualify it. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. A very convoluted, very complex way of denying that you said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. There's much smoother ways of doing this. And why didn't you go with one of those? That's my question. Why didn't you say something like, I didn't say that. I asked a question. Did I hit him? Or, no, it wasn't a statement. It was a question. She doesn't use any of those easier, more elegant ways of saying it. She says, I said I hit him, and then puts the context around that in that clumsy, awkward way. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. I thought that was very interesting that she phrased it like that. The next part, what I thought could have happened was, did I incapacitate him unwittingly somehow and then in his drunkenness passed out? She's not very certain about this. What I thought could have happened, so there's two qualifiers in there. I thought this happened, or this could have happened. So she's not very certain on that at all, and incapacitated him unwittingly somehow. So she's not very certain about this whatsoever. There's a lot of uncertainty in her language about what could have happened that night. She says, did I incapacitate him unwittingly? And then in his drunkenness passed out. So that's almost like victim blaming. It wasn't the incapacitating that made him pass out. It was the drunkenness that made him pass out. That's very interesting. That's passing the blame on from herself. I'm not saying she's blaming herself there, but in the concept that she's introduced there, that she incapacitated him unwittingly, she's distancing herself from the incapacitation, and it's the drunkenness that has caused the incapacitation, the passed outness, which is victim blaming. And just bear in mind, she used that word unwittingly. Did I incapacitate him unwittingly? Bear that in mind as you hear this.
Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in your admittedly very large SUV?
No, not possible.
Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in your admittedly very large SUV? Her answer is no, not possible. Very brief. She doesn't actually say what's not possible. She doesn't say in words, no, it's not possible that I did that I hit him with the SUV at all. She says it's not possible. And she says it's not, what did she say is not possible? Hitting him unwittingly. Did you hit him unwittingly? Were you not aware of it? Did you do it unwittingly? She says, no, not possible. And yet, previously in the same interview, she says, what I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly? So she thought it was possible at one point, and now she's saying it's not possible. She doesn't say what's changed. Maybe that's something that was edited out. But from all of that, I wasn't entirely sure of how Karen handled that. I thought there was that embedded confession there, and the contradiction there around unwittingly. I wasn't 100% sure that her denial of saying I hit him was credible. The link to the full analysis of that interview is in the show notes. So let's go to the trial. And this is the first EMT we're going to look at. I'm not going to name the EMTs. There's enough fire going on around this trial. So let's look at this first EMT. And this is him giving evidence to the prosecution.
And as far as your conversation with Ms. Reed, what, if any, questions asked in regard to either demographics or anything else?
So do you have any information of who this is? How are they here? Tried to get any type of information we could from her at that time, but with no luck.
When you say with no luck, what, if anything, what, if any, response did you receive from Ms. Reed in regard to your question?
So the only response that I was personally given was just, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him.
And when she's saying, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him, how loudly is she saying that?
So she was within 2 feet of me, but very loud. Any type of follow-up questioning, did you hit him with your hand? Did you kick him? What happened? She just repeated the phrase over and over again, I hit him.
The first question that is asked is, as far as your conversation with Miss Reed, what, if any, questions in regard to as a demographic or anything else? So do you have any information to who this is? How are they here? Tried to get any type of information we could from her at that time, but with no luck. When you say with no luck, what, if anything, what, if any, response did you receive from Miss Reed in regard to your questions? And he says, the only response that I was personally given was just, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him. First of all, notice he says, tried to get any information we could from her, but with no luck. Now, if he was trying to get the information, I hit him or anything like that, would he now class that as having no luck? He's very much talking there about the biographical medical information that he was trying to get. But he says they got no luck, even though it then turns into I hit him. Was that luck? Was that what he was looking for? Actually, how are they here? I hit him. Interesting. Doesn't hang together that for me. And then he does a really interesting thing. When he's asked, what response did you receive from Miss Reed in regard to your questions? He says, the only response that and then he stops and he starts again. I was personally given was just, I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him. Why that restate? Why does he start talking about what we were, I assume the only response that we heard or we were given, and he stops and then he just talks for himself. I was personally given. Why that restate? Why was he going to talk in we terms and then just talk in I terms? If you actually look, he doesn't talk about the word I at all in this answer, apart from there where he restates and says, I was personally given. Yes, he does say I hit him, but he's quoting Karen at that point. So why has this guy not talked about himself at all? In fact, when he talks about gathering information, he says it's to get any type of information we could from her. So this feels like he's not talking on behalf of himself and kind of realizes that, stops, and then starts again and talks about himself and says, I was personally given. Though talking about being personally given information suggests that maybe there was other things that weren't personally given to her. I think, is that what's going on here? Is he actually, did he experience this, or was he told this happened? Was it even put to him? Did you hear that? I mean, he didn't, but he realizes he was in earshot or something like that and could have happened, but he was concentrating on something else. I don't know, that's a hypothetical, but for me, he's not talking for himself in this answer at all. And he realizes that, and then realizes he has to talk for himself because this is his testimony. So says, I was personally given, almost using the personally to rub out, to erase the fact he was talking about we so far. Just have a listen to how strange it sounds.
So the only response that I was personally given was just, I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him.
He's then asked, and when she's saying, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him, how loudly is she saying that? His answer was, she was within 2 feet of me, but very loud. Any type of follow-up questioning, did you hit him with your hand? Did you kick him? What happened? She just repeated the phrase over and over again. I hit him. So he's asked a question. How loudly is she saying that? And there's the answer there. It's very loud. He says those words. He does answer the question very loud, but he gives a lot extra. He starts by saying she was within 2 feet of me. You were not asked how far away you were from Karen at the time. Why are you offering that information up? Is that to show how close you were? I don't know. He then says any type of follow-up questioning. So this is all extra. This is something that he wants to get across. It's important to him to get across. So he's added it to the answer of the question about how loud it was. He says very loud, but he's added this scenario of the follow-up questioning that he says, did you hit him with your hand? Did you kick him? What happened? And she kept saying again, I hit him. Why does he feel the need to add that in? Because he hasn't been asked about any follow-up questions. He was only asked how loudly was she saying that. His answer is in there, very loud. Why is he giving this extra information? I do like the fact, though, that he entertains the possibility. What does I hit him mean? This is a channel that deals with words. I hit him. Multiple meanings. We have come to assume that when Karen is accused of saying I hit him, that she means I hit him with the car. However, that's not a given. Those words are not there. It's not I hit him with my SUV, I hit him with my car. It's just I hit him. That is the quote that comes out time and time again. Karen has said I hit him. This EMT says that Karen said, I hit him. And the next two witnesses we look at will all just use that phrase, I hit him. He's the only person that entertains the possibility of what does hit him mean? Did you hit him with your hand? Did you kick him? What happened? So I will give him credit for coming up and thinking about that. This is him now on cross-examination.
But you did say that you had enough of a conversation with Miss Reed that she answered you and said something to the effect of, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him.
Correct.
So then you followed up on that conversation, correct?
As much as I could, yes.
As a matter of fact, you said that you asked her additional elaborating questions.
Correct.
Well, did you hit him in the face? Or did you kick him? Or did you hit him with your hand?
Yep.
Okay.
So how does he handle that? Well, he's asked questions, and he's asked 4 questions there 3 times. He is very direct with his answer. So you said something to the effect of, Miss Reed said something to the effect of, I hit him, oh my God, I hit him. He says, correct. As a matter of fact, you asked additional elaborating questions, and he says, correct. Did you hit him in the face, or did you kick him? Did you hit him with the hand? Yup. is what he said. So he's answered those questions very tightly, one-word answers. There's no extra in there. He's in those answers anyway. He's not adding any editorial. He's just confirming that he agrees with the statement that's put to him as a question, very directly, very straightforwardly, which is all interesting because it's all about him confirming what he said. Correct? Correct? Yep. The question in the middle of it, so you followed up on that conversation, correct? He doesn't just say yes, he says, as much as I could, yes. So he's gone extra there. He's added more in. Was he a bit irritated with Karen? Because he feels he has to, as much as I could, infers that she really wasn't letting him. And again, in the previous answer, when he was under direct, this is when he went extra again, isn't it? Any kind of follow-up questioning, she just repeated over and over again, I hit him. And I said, why is he adding that stuff in? So that's twice now he's talked about how uncooperative Karen was. I'm interested in why he feels the need to be very extra about that. Did he not take to her at the scene? I don't know. Here's another EMT now. Let's listen to what she has to say under direct questioning.
Your questions. What type of questions are you asking, or what type of information are you looking for from this person?
So just basic demographic info, who the patient is, his name, his date of birth. And then as far as any more questioning, you're trying to gather information that would basically help explain how this person ended up in the scenario that they're in. So did he have any medical problems? Does he take any medications daily? Does he have any allergies to medications? I was asking those questions.
And as you're asking those questions, what, if anything, is the defendant, Ms. Reed, doing while you're asking her those questions?
She answered who the patient was, his birthday. I think she answered maybe some of those initial medical questions that I asked. But as I said, she's very distraught. She was kind of moving around the scene a little bit, so I was just kind of following her, and then we came to a stop at one point, and I continued to ask I asked one more question.
What was that one more question?
So at that point, I asked her if there had been any significant trauma that happened before this.
What, if anything, did she say?
So she said, I hit him. She repeated it. There was a woman standing across from her who I believe at that point said, you're hysterical. You need to calm down. You're hysterical. She repeated, I hit him. And there was a police officer who was in that vicinity kind of with us who replied, you what? She repeated it one more time. And that officer then signaled to somebody, get Goody down here, which I'm assuming would be the sergeant.
Okay, a lot there. So first of all, she's asked about the questions. What type of questions were you asking? Twice she talks about John O'Keefe in a very distant manner. She refers to him as the patient and this person, almost as if she's really just talking about what it is she does in the job. In general, she asks questions about the patient and she asks questions about this person. However, she does talk about this being a male, at least, his name, his date of birth. Does he have any medical problems? Does he take any medications? Does he have any allergies or medications? So although some of it is general, I think most of it is very specific about what happened in that morning. Just picked up some lack of confidence in her language. Is going to be important because I think on the next answer there's even more lack of confidence. So just basic demographic info is it's turning down. It's not that important what I ask. I'm not confident enough to say I've got a really crucial job of getting the crucial information. Anything that can help him get life-saving interventions. I need to know all these things. There's a bit of lack of confidence there. Just basic information. And again, it's basically how the person ended up there. I think that's lack of confidence coming through in her language. We see that again in the next part. there, because she said she was kind of moving around the scene, just like kind of following her. Now, in classic statement analysis, kind of, well, that means not really that way. But I don't think she does mean that she was not really moving. I think she's, again, this is lack of confidence that's coming through there. So she wants to, was kind of moving. I don't want to say full on she was moving, and I was kind of following her. I don't have the confidence to say I was full on following her. Some uncertainty there, because she said she answered who the patient was, his birthday, and then I think she answered maybe some of those initial medical questions. So she's not 100% sure about what happened there. I'm not saying she's lying here. What I am saying is she's not entirely sure of what happened in that scenario. I think she answered maybe some of those medical questions. If you look at the question that was asked is, what, if anything, is the defendant Miss Reed doing while you're asking those questions? And she talks for a while about what Karen Reed was doing. She answered who the patient was, his birthday. I think she answered some of those initial medical questions. So that's things that Miss Reed is doing. She was very distraught and kind of moving around the scene a little bit. So those are all things that Karen Reed was doing. And then, much like the other EMT, she offers more information that she wasn't asked about, and information about herself. When she's not asked about herself, she's asked about what Karen was doing, and she says, I was just kind of following her, and then we came to a stop at one point, and I continued to ask, or I asked one more question. She's a bit nervous about describing what Karen was doing. You'll see the stutters on she answered who the patient was. She was, but as I said, she was very distraught. She was kind of moving around the scene a little. Now, when we're nervous about talking about ourselves, we'll stutter on the word I. I'm very unhappy here. So interesting. She nervous there about talking about Karen. It certainly seems that way. Just have a listen.
She answered who the patient was, his birthday. I think she answered the maybe some of those initial medical questions that I asked. But as I said, she's very distraught. She was kind of moving around the scene a little bit.
So she's very nervous about attaching things to Karen. She did, when she added on extra to the last question she was asked there, it was, I asked more questions. Well, actually, I asked one question. She knows the story that she is telling, whether she's been prepped to tell this story this way or whether she's worked on this herself. She knows that she wants to get to this question, and she's leading the conversation to this question. And she's asked, what was that one more question? And she says, so at that point, I asked her if there had been any significant trauma that happened before this. And then she's asked, what, if anything, did she say? And the response from this EMT is, so she said, I hit him. She repeated it. There was a woman standing across from her who I believe at that point said, you're hysterical. You need to calm down. You're hysterical. She repeated, I hit him. And there was a police officer who was in the vicinity, kind of with us, who replied, what? She repeated it one more time, and that officer then signaled to get somebody, so get Goody down here, which I'm assuming would be the sergeant. So once more, we've got this split answer, which has an answer to the question it's asked, and then some more that she thinks is important to get across. So the first part is, what did she say? And it is all about Karen saying, I hit him, repeating it. Then being told by her friend to calm down, you're hysterical, but she repeated, I hit him. And there was a police officer who said, what? And she repeated it one more time. So she is talking there in that answer about what Karen says, and then she adds the bit at the end, the extra. And that officer then signaled to somebody, get Goody down here, which I'm assuming would be the sergeant. So why the need, again, why does she feel the need to add that extra that she hasn't been asked about? Is it to get across the fact that Karen was taken away by the police at that point, at the point that she said, I hit him? I don't know, but she's offered it up for a reason. I'm going to point out something here, that twice this EMT doesn't say that Karen was hysterical, but says this person, who's actually Jen McCabe, who we're going to look at next, is saying you're hysterical. And Karen being hysterical is a bit of a theme from the witnesses that we've seen so far. Lots of them repeat this exact description of Karen as hysterical. This witness here isn't quite saying that Karen was hysterical. You know, in her own words, she called her distraught earlier, but she is saying that someone at the scene called her hysterical. And just finally on this question, just look at how far away the answer ends from what the question was. The question was, what, if anything, did she say? And the last words of the answer are, I'm assuming, would be the sergeant. So we have huge big gap there, or distance from what the question was to where the answer ended up. Always very interesting. This is when the person answering the question wants to lead us down a certain way of thinking for some reason. Let's have a look at what this EMT says on cross-examination.
You told Trooper Proctor the day after the event, on January 30th, that the statement that you attribute to my client was actually made to the female, not to you in response to your questioning. That's what you told Trooper Proctor, correct?
I don't have those notes in front of me, so I don't know that I can tell you that that's correct, but the statement was made in response to my question. However, the Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. End quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes, if you're saying that's in quotation marks in that, then yes.
That's what's in the report.
Okay.
And you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions, not okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
So going back to the start of that cross-examination section, she's asked to confirm what she told Trooper Proctor on the 30th of January. She says, I don't have those notes in front of me. I can't tell you if that's correct because I don't have those notes in front of me, which is another recurring theme of this trial, that the prosecution witnesses will not talk about anything they said previously, whether it's to an investigator or whether it was to one of the grand juries that was impaneled before this trial, unless those notes are in front of them. They will not, as a rule, they will not say what they did, what they've said previously outside of this trial without seeing it in black and white in front of them. She then says, the statement was made in response to my question. However, I think she was going to say defendant. However, Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that. Very clear and straightforward. The statement was made in response to my question. However, Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman when she said that. She then asked a big series of questions, and her answers are, okay, is that a yes? Yeah, if you're saying that's in quotation marks, then yes, that's what's in the report. She says, okay. Easy acceptance of what was there. She's not going to hit out and argue with the defense attorney at all. She's just agreeing with what she said. And when he says that's what's in the report, she's like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. He says, you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions, not yes. Okay. And she says, yes. And then once more, you told Trooper Proctor, Karen Reed looked to the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Correct. She says, yes. Once more, easy acceptance of what is put to her. She said, have you been since learned the name of the identity of the female that was standing to your left? No. Plain, simple, really easy answer. You're aware the female to your left reported the exact same statement? She says, no. Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement? Could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him? She says, no, I'm not aware of that. Once more, easy acceptance of the answers. She is really happy to just be told things, to hear things. She's not being argumentative about it at all. She's not. Truthful people just tell the truth in general. They just tell a plain and simple truth. They don't feel the need to argue about it. They don't feel the need to over-explain about it or try to persuade or convince people that they're telling the truth. They just tell the truth. And that's very much the vibe that's come there in that second EMT under cross-examination of just accepting statements that are put to her and really simply saying yes or no to questions that she is asked. All very different with the final witness that we're going to look at. This is Jen McCabe, and here she is under questioning from the prosecution.
And then what happened then?
More officers began to arrive. Miss Reed just continued to run around screaming. As more officers and EMT arrived, they asked what happened. One EMT asked, one EMT had asked, his name, his age, things like that. If she knew what happened, Miss Reed stated that she hit him. Besides running around saying, I hit him, did I hit him, could I have done this? Is he dead? Is he dead? At one point, one of the police officers put Miss Reed in the back of her cruiser, and he asked for myself to go over with her, and Carrie came over with us as well.
I'd like to just take you back to when the paramedic is asking for information, biographical information, things like that. You indicated that the defendant said, I hit him, is that correct?
Yes.
That's something that she said once or more than once?
3 times. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Now, before you had made reference to statements she made with sort of qualifiers or questions as far as could I have hit him or did I hit him? Is that what she said at that time when she was speaking to the paramedic?
No, she was earlier, it was could I, did I. When she spoke to the paramedic, it was crystal clear. I hit him.
Going back to the beginning of that session then, Jen is asked what happened next, and she explains what happened next. She talks about Miss Reed just continued to run around screaming. Miss Reed stated that she hit him. Besides running around saying I hit him, did I hit him, could I have hit him, is he dead, is he dead? This feels like a really confusing picture, but is it a confused picture as well? Is this as straightforward as it seems, or is it a little bit all over the place? I think there is a bit there that Miss Reed stated that she hit him. This was besides running around saying, I hit him, did I hit him, could I have done this, is he dead, which she was talking about had happened earlier. So she's jumping around in time, I believe, when she's talking here, which is never something that people who just truthfully, without any pressure, relating events tend to do. They just tend to talk about things in quite a linear fashion. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Now, who did Karen say I hit him to, according to Jen? Well, this is interesting because Jen talks about more officers and EMT arriving. So she's very clear that officers and EMT are different. Otherwise, she just said more officers arrived or more EMT arrived. She says more officers and EMT arrived. And of those EMT, she says one EMT asked. Then there's a bit of an objection. So she starts again and she says one EMT had asked. So twice she's saying the question was asked by an EMT. In response to that, excuse me, Karen says, I hit him. And then after that, one of the police officers put Miss Reed in the back of a cruiser. So she knows the difference. Again, she's proving she knows the difference between an EMT and a police officer. She's very clear in her telling here. The EMT asked the question that got the response, I hit him, and the police officer put Miss Reed in the back of a car. She's then asked, that's something that she said more than once. And she says 3 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. You look at what she said previously, it was Miss Reed stated that she hit him once. Besides running around saying, I hit him twice, did I hit him, could I have done this, is he dead, is he dead? So in the story that's told the first time, I hit him is said twice. Yeah? And then it becomes 3 times. Now, I'm not saying any of this is a lie. It's just confusing. It's not straightforward. You know, this is not something that is very calmly being described because it's very clear inside her head. Is it? No. It was twice in the first telling, and then the next time is 3 times, and it's consecutive times as well. 3 times. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. In the first telling, there was 2 different times. I don't even think those 2 different times happened, if I'm being honest with you. I just think in the first telling, it was once, and then the second time it is, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Now, she's asked if these were qualified statements. Did I hit him? Could I hit him? Or was it a definite? And Jen's answer was, no, she was... and then restates, earlier it was, could I, did I? So what was she going to say with she was? We don't know, but she was going to say something and thought better of saying that and went back to it. But look, once more, she confirms that when it was crystal clear, I hit him, was when she spoke to the paramedic. Yeah, so she spoke to an EMT, paramedic, kind of same thing, yeah. So when she spoke to the paramedic, it was crystal clear, I hit him. There is something to bear in mind. Paramedic is in the question. It's twice put to her. The paramedic is asking for information, and when she was speaking to the paramedic, now sometimes we reflect back what is asked in questions, but the paramedic concept of asking these questions was introduced by Jen McCabe when she said it was an EMT. She does not, and bear in mind this is a murder trial, she does not correct to say it wasn't a paramedic or it was someone entirely different from that. This is a murder trial. We should be paying real careful attention to what it is you're saying and the evidence that you're giving. She doesn't do that at all. She is very clear that the person who asked the question that got the response was a paramedic or an EMT. This is now cross-examination, and she's being asked about testimony she gave to a grand jury hearing.
Not one time in that testimony did you say she declared, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Did you?
The questions that were asked, when she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, that was at the scene in response to an officer asking questions. What I just read was us when she first called me, or when we were driving in the car, or when we were at John's house. So I was answering the question that I was asked.
So you believe that you weren't asked the question, did she say to an officer, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? And if you're not asked the question, did she say to an officer, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? You're not going to volunteer that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. That's your testimony.
No, that's not. My testimony is, an officer was asking her what his name was and different things about him. And at that point, she was saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
Which officer?
I do not recall.
Well, you recall the I hit him. You just told me that was the most impactful thing in the morning.
It was shocking.
So what officer did she say this to, supposedly?
I was more focused on her and her hysteria than which officer was asking the question.
So you have no idea who the officer was even, correct?
I'm not sure which officer was asking her. It could have been an EMT. Someone said, what is his name? Does he have medical conditions? How old is he?
But you were asked that question, ma'am. On page 208, you were asked what she said in front of the female EMT who was asking her questions. And her answer was, your answer was, she said, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? Is that right?
That is correct.
That would have been a good time to offer up that she confessed, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, right?
Objection.
Sustained as to that form.
Ms. McCabe, the truth of the matter is you've manufactured this new story for this jury because you think it helps you out.
Absolutely not.
Well, that was an exchange and a half. Right, let's go back to the beginning of it. She is asked, not one time in that testimony did you say she declared, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Did you? And Jen's answer is, the questions that were asked, when she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, that was at the scene in response to an officer asking questions. What I just read was us when she first called me, or when we were driving in the car, or when we were at John's house. So I was answering the question that I was asked. Comes up very often in these episodes. She doesn't answer the question. The question is, not one time in that testimony did you say she declared, I hit him. Did you? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Would be fair answers, as would I don't know. Instead, she goes on to ramble about what she was asked, and then what happened before they got to the street where the body was found, and so on and so on. And she finishes it saying, so I was answering the question that I was asked. Now, I would say that if you want us to believe that you are the kind of person who just answers the questions they were asked, that's fair enough. Just do not do that when you're avoiding answering another question. What she wants us to believe is that she always answers questions, and yet it's very patently clear there that she doesn't always only answer the questions that she was asked. Did you spot who, when she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, that was at the scene in response to an officer asking questions, very clearly in response to an officer asking questions. Remember, under questioning from the prosecution, she said one EMT asked and one EMT had asked, but now it's changed. The story's changed in response to an officer asking questions. That exchange continues. So you believe that you weren't asked the question, did she say to an officer, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? And if you're not asked the question, did she say to an officer, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? You're not going to volunteer that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. That's your testimony? Jen says, no, that's not. What is your testimony, she's asked. And Jen says, my testimony is an officer was asking her what his name was and different things about him. And at that point, she was saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. So my testimony is an officer was asking his name. So her testimony is, once more, an officer. She's very clear it's an officer. It's not a paramedic. It's not an EMT. This is, once more, she's saying it's an officer. She's asked, which officer? She says, I do not recall. Well, you recall the I hit him. You just told me that was the most impactful thing in the morning. It was shocking. So what officer did she say this to, supposedly? And she says, I was more focused on her and her hysteria than which officer was asking the question. You can see on that last one, to what officer did she say this, supposedly? She doesn't answer the question. She editorializes. She adds extra things that it's important for her to say. She could just say, I don't know which officer. She has already said which officer, and she said, I do not recall. So this is something that's important for her to say, something that's important for her to get across. And look, it involves hysteria. Yeah, it involves hysteria, that concept that keeps coming up that people want to say about Karen Read that morning. And once more, she acknowledges it was an officer asking the question in her version now that got the response, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. She's asked, so you have no idea who the officer even was, correct? And she says, I'm not sure which officer was asking her. It could have been an EMT. Someone said, what's his name? Does he have medical conditions? How old is he? So she says, in black and white, which officer was asking her. And then for some bizarre reason, she then realizes that it could have been an EMT, despite the fact she's called it an officer several times. And she said before, under the questioning from the prosecution, that she knows the difference between EMT and police officers. She treats them as very different concepts. She said it could have been an EMT. So it goes from being an officer to it could have been an EMT to someone. Someone said, what's his name? So she's really turned down the certainty of who this person was. She was very certain it was an officer, and then it could have been an EMT, and now it is just someone. And by the way, all of a sudden the EMT's been brought in. The questions were, what's his name, and does he have medical conditions? It's the first time she's asked this. She said that the questions being asked involved medical conditions. If you under direct, she said one EMT had asked, his name, his age, things like that. If she knew what happened. Under cross, she said, my testimony is an officer was asking what his name was and different things about him. And at this point, it's the first time she's mentioned that Karen was asked about medical conditions in the questioning where the I hit him, I hit him, I hit him came up. So this is really not a coherent or consistent relation of events in these statements from Jen McCabe. The lawyer then says, but you were asked that question, ma'am. On page 208, you were asked what she said in front of the female EMT who was asking her questions. And her answer was, I'm sorry. Your answer was, she said, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Is he dead? And she says, mm-hmm. And he says, is that right? And she says, that is correct. The only thing I want to point out about that section is it's the smallest possible confirmation that you can give, a very grudging confirmation. The lawyer then says, that might have been a good time to offer up that she confessed, I hit him, right? There's an objection which is sustained. Miss McCabe is put to her, the truth of the matter is you've manufactured this new story for this jury because you think it helps you out, and she answers with, absolutely not. Which is problematic for me. It's not a no, is it? The truth of the matter is you've manufactured this new story for this jury because you think it helps you out. No, I didn't manufacture this. Or no, this is what happened. But she says absolutely not, which is like used like a super no. But there is nothing more super than just the word no. The word no is very clear, very direct. No one needs to be told what no means. The word no would have been absolutely fine there. But she says absolutely not. Now, you will be amazed at how often the word absolutely appears in deception. Just because someone says absolutely doesn't mean they're lying, but it appears a lot in deception. And here she uses that word absolutely and absolutely not. That absolutely not doesn't mean no. Just say no. Why did she not say no? Okay. Time for conclusions. Did Karen Reid say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? Well, the first EMT, I'm not sure if this guy heard it. I'm really not sure this guy heard it. The way he talks about we a lot, I think someone may have told him, or there may have been some storytelling going on there, which is why he's talking about we. He was very calm on cross-examination, but only confirming what he said. It wasn't really about what Karen said. I'm not sure whether he heard it or not. The second EMT, I think she likely did hear it. She was very together and clear and coherent in her storytelling. She did lack a bit of confidence, but hey, you're in a murder trial, you're up against cross-examination coming your way. You are not going to be the most confident person in the world. But she was very clear, very direct, and very consistent in her telling of that story. She came across to me as very truthful at that part of her testimony, at least. So I think she likely heard Karen Reid say, I hit him. And Jen, I cannot accept that she heard it at all. It would take a lot more for me to accept that she heard Karen Reid say, I hit him. But now, in court, giving testimony, she is saying that she heard Karen Reid say, I hit him. But the story is not consistent. It changes in the space of 24 hours. What she supposedly experienced, her relating of that, is not consistent. I don't think that she heard it. It would take a lot more of hearing from Jen to convince me that she did hear Karen Reid say, I hit him. If you want more like this, and we may come back to this trial again as it goes on, then hit the subscribe button to get this content, or the follow button delivered automatically when something is released. The like button goes a long way in getting this content to more people, or you can share it. I know there's a lot of people interested in the Karen Reid case, so you can share it with people that are interested. And if you want to comment and get involved in the comments, just be nice, respectful of each other in the comments. That would be brilliant. Then you can do that as well. I do read every comment that comes in, so don't give me a hard week, will you? Be nice, be respectful, but share your opinions as well. NeverAtruerWord.com is a website. There you can find more podcasts. You can sign up for the monthly newsletter. You can find out how to get in touch on all forms of social media. See more videos as well. That's NeverAtruerWord.com. And we'll see you soon for something new from Never a Truer Word.